Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our UserXpress lunchtime webinars. My name is Laura Newland, and I'm the Operations Manager here at 1905. This is the third of our 5 sessions this week. Hopefully by now you are getting a better understanding of UserXpress, how to use it, and how much time it saves SAP security teams. Today we're going to be showing you some of our favorite features, such as unlocking users, resetting passwords, role assignment, changing parms, and deactivating users. I'm going to turn you over to Dara Noctor, our founder, who's going to take you through today's session.
Fantastic. Thanks, Laura. Fantastic. Thank you. That's great. Okay, let's just jump straight into this here, our screen from yesterday. I'd just like to, I suppose, just give a quick recap on, just in case anyone else new has joined. So just going over the last couple of days. So on Monday, we spoke about installing UserXpress. It's a 50 megabyte file. Within 2 minutes, you're up and you're managing users. And there's no transports or changes or repairs required on your SAP system, that the application uses an SAP certified interface to communicate with SAP's own identity management API. So that's why there's no transport changes or repairs required on any of your systems. This thing works literally out of the box. So that's what we covered over on Monday, essentially. And then yesterday and Tuesday, what we did is we basically took people through the application, through the UI, the various components involved, and 3 main screens. So you had the global user table, and this is the table that basically, I suppose, is the intelligence center of the application. And it's from here that all the users from all your clients and all your systems are presented to you in one very simple, easy to understand screen. And then we have what we call the global role table as well. So this contains all the roles of all the clients and systems, again, that you're connected to. And then we spoke about the control panel and how you connect to your SAP system. Again, just using your SAP GUI credentials. So again, there's no setup or required on your SAP system, no special IDs. You just use your ID and password that you would use on your SAP GUI. We also spoke about how we can modify the layout of the global user table, on how we can just hide columns and add in more columns, so we don't get that, I suppose, we don't feel too enclosed on the global user table, because there's a lot of information there. So it's highly customizable. And we also showed how we can move columns from one place to another, so it just suits exactly what it is that you want. Then we looked at how we can search for users by user ID, but also, I suppose, the common issue, the common problem, whereby user ID mightn't be the same for a particular user across different systems. So it might be last name underscore initial, or it just might be first name, or it just might be a last name. So instead we can search on email address or any number of criteria to search for particular users that we want to act on, like change passwords and to unlock, etc. And we also went over about queries and how we can build up queries within the global user table by typing in literally at the column headers, like you would in an Excel filter, that you can combine various column search elements to yield queries. So for instance, yesterday we showed how we could list all users in a particular system, in a particular client, that do not have an SAP license installed. And then I showed how we can save that query. And then we also showed how the application comes with pre-authored queries. So for instance, you can see at a glance all your deactivated users, or we can see users that haven't logged on in over a year. And we also showed how we can add on to those queries and save them then subsequently, excuse me, as our own queries. So we explained as well that, from release to release, that we add on more queries, and they're just really starting points for users to, I suppose, create their own queries and save them for future use. And finally, we just showed how we could export anything in the global user table to Excel for further reporting. So for instance, if you needed to show select users or deactivated users, to a particular manager, saying, do we need to deactivate or just delete these users from the system? So again, it was just a very easy way to communicate within the organization, the various users' attributes, etc. So that's what we covered over the last 2 days. So today we're going to, I suppose, look at a more, I suppose, the more practical elements of UserXpress. So we're going to like reset passwords, unlock users, set email addresses, and parameter management, as Laura mentioned earlier on. But also we're going to look at deactivating users. So we have a mimicked email to show, look, these three people are leaving, and how you can use UserXpress to basically close out users on all your systems. And then we look at role assignment as well, about assigning roles to users. And you might be wondering, well, what happens if an error occurs? What does that look like? So we'll look at that as well. So right now, what we'll do is we're going to use the same user that we used yesterday on how to say reset a password or initialize a password and unlock. So we look for our user here, Barnes underscore T. And again, what we can do is we can select specific users if we want, or we can just select all the users. So here what we want to do is we just want to reset the password, and we'll unlock the user as well. And then we have to notify the user of this new password. So what I can do here is change the password in it12, and we can just select unlock user here, click OK. So we can see here the visual change. And just to iterate again what we mentioned the other day, when you see a change on a screen, that's confirmation the change has already been made on the back-end system. So what happens is we make the change, and then we reread the user master record, and then we update the global user table with those new values. So when we see initial here, the system has already reset the password to initial state, and again with lock status. What we can do here is we now need to notify the user that we've basically changed or reset their password on all these 10 clients here. So what we can do very simply is we can go to what's called cell selection. So instead of selecting rows, we can select cells individually. Then we can copy those very easy. And then what we can do is if we double click the email address, it will actually open up your default mail client. So for instance, we could say new password, and just say Tom, your new password, just say some time here. And what we can do is we can select just very easily. It's just a very easy way of communicating to the user, that password isn't set. So we can send this off, and straight away within a couple of seconds we've notified the user. Here's all the the clients and the systems. So ordinarily that might have taken a bit more time to type them in. So again, the application is all about really kind of, I suppose, saving time more than anything else. So let's just say no on that. So let's take a look at, we'll say, if we want to assign an email address to somebody. So we can do here is we search for a user that we've used in previous demonstrations as the Karen Banks. So we can see there's no email address here. So what we can do is, let's just go back here into row mode. Take that, and we can use the assign button. We have different items that we can assign or manage for the user. So we click email. So we have various options here. So I can be very direct and type in Karen Banks, at higgs.com, or I can customize the email address. So it'll take the first name in the column, dot or hyphen or space or no space, dot last name, a company name, or I can use the user ID. Or if I have an alias field already populated, I can just copy from that. Or if I need to remove the email address at any point in time. So let's just take this here. Let me just take higgs.com. And again, we'll see this column here populate behind us. So again, visual confirmation indicates that the change has already been made on the back-end system. So that's, again, a very, very simple way, very easy way. You can start to see the power in the application really is the more systems you have, the more clients you have, the application proves itself again and again. Another item that we wanted to look at is if we want to set the SNC. So if you're using single sign-on, what we can do is we can emulate the transaction SNC1. So this might look familiar to some people here. So clicking OK here will set the S&C setting to this. Now, again, we just want to, I suppose, touch lightly and say that, excuse me, that we work with our customers, and they see or if they see an opportunity to introduce us to new functionality, or anything that they might seem useful that we think will benefit other customers, we put that in. So what we can do here is, this is one example in that we used variables to establish a customized S&C form. So again, this is just just an example of I suppose 1905 engaging one of their customers, and they had a really important, urgent need to have something like this. So I think we turned this around within a matter of weeks for them, and they were quite delighted with it. So we're kind of really happy with that. But if we just click OK here, and again, visual confirmation that it works. Fantastic. And now I'm just realizing the time here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to Barnes_T. And what we'll do is we'll do some parameter ID management. So what we can do here is we can assign the parameters very similar to what we see in SU01 in the parameters tab. And what we can do here is we present it here. Stretch that out. Just take anything and just put in X space 1. We can add these parameters. Oops. Just going to say YY and click OK, and it will assign these parameters to each of the users that I've selected. Again, they don't have to be the same ID. So if I double click here, it'll open up SU01. I can take a look at my parameters here. So these are the parameters that have just been added here. Okay, now I just want to talk about very quickly about deactivating users. So just part of a demonstration that we used to run. This is an email mimicking a HR email to notify the SAP security team that, listen guys, we have a few people leaving and here's IDs, and can you basically deactivate them on the systems wherever they have an ID. So what we can do is we can just copy these, and we can use what's called our user ID filter, which allows us to explicitly enter user IDs. And we've measured this performance up to 1,000 user IDs without any performance issues. So we can put in as many as you want. Click apply. And we can see we have, I think, 27 IDs that we need to deactivate. So we can do select all, go to our multiple changes, and following SAP best practices, we can deactivate the password. We can lock the user. The validity date we can put into the past. Let's just make it December 1st. Remove roles, profiles, and authorization group. We'll put down to inactive. User type, one of our customers likes to set them for system. And for cost center, we just move them out. We can click OK here. So we can see here, password status is changing. The lock status. Over here, the group is also changing, and the valid to date is also changing here as well. So again, it's again, the more systems, the more clients you have to manage. Again, this is where the power of the application lies. If you have maybe just one or two clients, maybe the application might be for you. But if we take a look again at the user here, we can see everything is locked out. Passwords, it's inactive, and the expiry date. No roles, no profiles. So again, we've met our target there within a matter of moments. So we're quite glad of that. And what we do is we just jump straight to role assignment. So what we can do is very easy. We mentioned yesterday that we can drag and drop roles from the global role table to any selected users. So what we do is we can select all our users, and we can just select all of these roles and drag and drop them on. So we're presented with the screen here, and what we can do is we can also change in, say, 2019 here. So what's going to happen is this role will be assigned to this user in this client, this role to this user in this client, and so on and so forth. So we click a button. That's how fast it can happen. So you click close again. Click on that. can see the roles. We can see the 2 roles assigned. So again, it's a very quick method of just assigning roles, especially for day to day. So I think that's for today. I think we've kind of shown the essence of what the application can accomplish within a very short period of time. Again, the more systems, the more clients you have, it shows its power. So just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And Laura, I'll just pass you back.
Okay, thank you, Dara.
No problem, Laura.
Okay, now that everybody's seen how easy and fast it is to perform all of those updates Dara just showed you across multiple users, multiple clients, and systems. Again, if you'd like to install it on your own PC, you can download our free 30-day trial from our website. It installs right onto your PC. You can try it out for yourself, and the trial does come with full technical support. Tomorrow, we are going to show you different ways of creating users with our Create User functionality, Fast Copy, and Creating Ranged Users. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is laura.newland@1905ideas.com. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Laura. Bye.